Hey everybody, it's Rob Wilds. Thanks for listening to the Smells Like Hope podcast. If you believe in the cause of recovery, then please hit the like, hit the subscribe buttons. Become a recovery warrior. Join me in the battle against drug and alcohol addiction. Welcome to another edition of the Smells Like Hope podcast. The podcast dedicated to shining the light of truth on the disease of addiction. I am your host, Rob Wilds. I'm a 20-year professional wrestling veteran, and I'm also an addict. Joined by special guests, we are going to share with you our stories of recovery, of inspiration and hope. Because, my friends, no matter how dark the road you're on, there is always hope. All right, guys and dolls, we are back for a new episode of the Smells Like Hope podcast, starting off a 3, maybe a 4-part series called The Facts and the Truth About Drug Court. As a lot of you know, I'm just about to graduate from drug court, and I hear a lot of people all the time saying, oh, it's a setup, it's a trap, they're out to get you. And, you know, pardon my fucking French, but that's bullshit, and it drives me crazy. So to counteract these jailhouse attorneys talking about how horrible it is, I'm going to bring in people who are going to tell their true and actual stories about their addiction, their road to drug court, and what their experiences are. And today's episode number 1, and we got my boy Chad calling in from California. What's up, brother?
Yeah, how you doing, my man? Glad to be here.
Living the dream, baby.
Yeah, not in jail, not in prison, and I'm not dead.
Amen to that 3 times over. And that's you. You probably haven't heard this one yet on a past podcast that I did, but when I got into drug court, I had never even heard of drug court yet. And this is a guy who's been to jail several times for possession with intent of cocaine and using cocaine and all that good, happy horse shit. But I decided to get myself clean before I went in to face my last set of charges. So by the time I went in front of my judge, I was already 9 months clean. And I was there to just plead guilty and just, take the hit and do the time.
Right.
So I go meet my lawyer because I fired my lawyer because I knew he wasn't going to be able to get anything done. And I went and just grabbed the public defender. When I showed up in front of this guy in court, he said, "Oh my God, you look fantastic." And I was like, "What? How do you figure?" And he pulls out my record or my folder and shows me my last mugshot. I was like, "Oh my God, is that me?" So he went in and told the judge, he's here to plead guilty. And she said, "No, he's not." He said, "No, he really isn't. He's 9 months clean." So she immediately had me tested. I came back clean, and then they gave me the option of drug court, which is what I wanted. When I was in rehab, I was saying I just really wanted the opportunity, one more chance to prove myself or hang myself. And that is what drug court ended up being for me. But that's how it works in Pennsylvania. You have to actually have serious felony charges and be referred to drug court by a judge. Like, your lawyer can't just take you to drug court. So let's talk about...
Correct.
That's what it's like out there too?
Yep.
Where in California are you?
I'm in Huntington Beach.
Oh, nice. So you got no complaints. I mean, when the smoke clears, of course.
Right. It's Huntington Beach isn't all it's cracked up to be anymore. It's the addict population is taken over, and I was a large part of that population. But it is what it is.
So it's like it's sharing the San Francisco story.
Fairly close, correct?
Too bad.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in California, in Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
So I miss
a little bit north from me.
Yeah, I miss California all the time. And when I look into how it's doing now, it's just California is in bad shape.
Yeah, it's on a rapid decline, and I'm a single dad with a little girl, and I'm ready to get out of here, honestly.
Well, I'll tell you, I live in Pittsburgh now, and I am not ready to. I am getting out of here, man. I am getting myself to Tampa because if I can't get back to a beach and I ever have to shovel snow again, I believe it will kill me.
Yeah. My family's from Ohio, so I understand.
Oh God, yeah. So let's get started here. You got how many times were you hit with charges and completed probation and other sentences before you got drug court?
Well, honestly, what I kept doing was I just kept racking up charges. I got my first sales charge, got caught with like 3 pounds of meth.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then bailed myself out of jail and then got caught for another sales charge and bailed myself out again and got busted with another sales charge.
Is that what they call it sales out there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They call it intent to distribute here.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple terms they use here. You hear public defenders call it all kinds of different things,
right.
But it all equals the same process.
And by the way, real quick, if there's any public defenders listening to this right now, man, y'all don't get enough credit for how much work you got to put into this. Defending guys like us and keeping us out of prison by the grace of God and the work of you. So just any PDs who are listening, man, much love. Thank you very much.
Yeah, shout out to mine, Mr. Mooney. That guy had our backs like no other. He would argue with judges. He would defend us like we were his children.
Huh.
And he really went to bat for us, and he was fantastic at his job. There nothing bad to say about the gentleman.
So by the time you were offered drug court, how many charges was hanging over you?
I think I had 4.
Okay.
Looking at 11 years, upstate if I didn't do drug court, for the multiple sales charges. And, when I got offered, I had made the decision, as I was getting arrested for the last time, this is not the life I want to lead anymore. I'm just tired of this, and made that decision sitting in the back of a cop car in handcuffs.
Yep.
And so when drug court was thrown on the table, I simply stated, well, let me look into it. Let me see what the process is, because I'm an addict and I tend to fuck things up, So
yeah. Oh, I know. I know.
I go back, after my court date, and I'm sitting in my pod in jail, and everyone tell me, oh, you don't want to do that, all the cliches, like people don't pass that, you're gonna fail, it's a waste of time. And being an ex-military man, I have something to prove, and so I say, fuck that, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to prove everybody wrong. And I got picked up on my rehab straight from jail. After it was a battle for me to get drug court. They didn't think I was serious, and I really had to fight for it. I had to kick my girlfriend out of my house because she was still in active addiction. And they finally told me, all right, we're going to take you. We're going to give you a shot. And them saying, that I just wanted to get out of jail early. I told them, leave me in jail. I have no problem with being in jail for now. I'll wait till I get a bed in a treatment center, and I just want to move forward. That was it. And they gave it to me. So I sat in jail for another month and a half or so, waiting for my treatment center to pick me up. And that's how it worked for me. I got released, and I got busy.
That's the best day, right? When they finally pick you up off that hard cot and take you to a bed, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, these beds suck," and you're like, "Hell no, this bed is great, and the food is wonderful, and I can have a cigarette and whatever else." Woo!
Yeah, that's exactly how it was, and I got busy. Like I met my PO, who was a very tough woman. You don't fuck with her, but you get on her good side and she'll move mountains for you. And
see, I didn't do that. I had a PO who was just the same, and I think, everything I could possibly to piss her off until she was actually about to issue a warrant for me because I kept failing the drug tests. Because I'd come out, they did the same thing with me. Send me to rehab right from jail, then get out and go see your PO. But I just wasn't ready. I just wasn't ready. So I absconded from the PO. I finally went and faced up to her and said, look, I'm going to rehab. I'm done with this. And she actually gave me one last chance that I made work.
Right. And they're notorious for that. Like mine would give people chances. Like you're going to pay some consequences, whether it's no matter the size of the sanction, you're either writing an essay, you're going to do some public service stuff, you're going to jail for a few days, whatever.
Right.
And then the last thing that she would give you would be like, all right, you're going to the Salvation Army, and if you can't do that, you're done.
That's a rehab center, yeah?
Yes, and it's a 6-month program that's very intense.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people go through there, and it's not easy.
No, I've heard. We have one of those out here in Pittsburgh too, and they also have a rehab center that's actually affiliated and attached to the county prison. So, like, they'll send you over there, and you still can't go outside. You can't do nothing, and if you screw up, they just walk you right back to that quarter, right back to county. Which, thankfully, I didn't have to do. You know, when I was facing my trial, because I don't know how it works out there, but out here, when you get nicked and they assign you a judge, that's your permanent trial judge for any time you get brought in on a charge.
Yeah, that's how it works with us as well. Okay. We always had the same judge no matter what.
Well, my judge was notorious for being just one of those look out on the ledge and count the pigeons, and that's how many years she gives you. I mean, you keep hearing what a hard ass she was, but she gave me 3 remarkable love shots. However, the third time before drug court, now out there, when you go to drug court, do you walk in already having been sentenced by your trial judge?
Pretty much, yeah. Okay. So they give you your terms, and if you don't complete, you're looking at those terms.
I walked in with 20 years hanging over my head. So she gave me a love shot, but she was still super pissed that I kept screwing up my opportunities. So when the judge was reading it off to me, and Judge Nahas out here, guy, he's just the kindest person I've ever met. He's just fantastic.
That's how mine was. Exact same thing, full of compassion and empathy for every person that was in drug court, and completely understanding and reasonable. It came to a point where I looked forward to my court date, where I got to see the other participants in drug court.
Yeah.
Got to get praised by a judge, which I'm not used to. And normally it's like, Mr. Woodruff, you keep fucking up, So,
I'm with you.
To have them show that compassion it was a great feeling.
And it's cool to go in there and see the other guys who are in the program and seeing how they progress. But the unfortunate part is you walk in there every single month for drug court, and you're watching 2 or 3 people getting walked out in cuffs.
Absolutely.
Or people just aren't there because they're wrong side of the lawn now. And that's the hard part, seeing people who now you find out in court are dead. Yeah,
and it's lately here, especially here in California, everybody's on the fentanyl, so everybody falling off is overdosing.
Yeah.
I've had like 3 of them in the last month, and it's heartbreaking.
So what, heroin was your thing?
Meth was my thing.
Ah, okay. So you were an upper guy as well.
Oh yes, I like to go.
Go. Next thing you know, 3 days have passed by, and you're seeing shadow people.
Exactly. Wondering who the hell's at my window,
right?
Who's knocking at my door, whatever it may be.
So you went to jail rehab first, and then...
Well, I went to jail, and then my rehab picked me up from jail. So I was in jail for about 4 months, just waiting. And they picked me up to an outpatient program, living program, county funded, no fancy rehab. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah. And then you got issued your court dates for everything, and then they gave you drug court.
Then it was okay. So every 2 weeks I'm going to court, as I'm in my first phases, so every 2 weeks I have a court date. And,
you have a regular court date or a drug court date?
A drug court date.
Okay, but what? So hold on. After you got let out of rehab, how long until you were in front of a drug court judge for your first time?
After rehab, I think it was only like a week.
So they move fast.
So. Oh yeah, they don't mess around. You're seeing your PO every single week on Wednesday. You're testing 3 times a week.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're on the ball. So, I did my drug court through all 5 phases, completely sanction free, no dirty tests, nothing. I pretty much aced this program, and it was because I was ready and I wanted it. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I think I'd be considered not an A+, but an A, maybe an A-, because right in the beginning of drug court, I lost my dad to pancreatic cancer. So I decided to smoke some weed. And then I got tested and I came up hot, obviously. I go in front of the judge and he goes, weed? Really? Weed? And I was like, yeah. He goes, so not coke, just weed. He goes, you know you're going to go to jail for 3 days for weed. I'm like, yeah, I know. He's like, all right, well, we'll get through this. And he never brought it up again because it was just weed, I guess.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it is here too. Oh, well, you're smoking pot. Well, you're going to pay some consequences.
Right.
Not that big of a deal, but you're going to follow the rules. And then again, it won't be brought up again.
Now, how long
move forward.
How long were you on drug court? How long was your sentence?
So on paper, it states that drug court is 18 months. I was on it for 2 years. Because of the whole COVID situation where I wasn't able to go check in with the PO. We weren't able to drug test. Everybody was kind of at a standstill for a little while. So nobody was phasing up, moving forward, nothing. So, but roughly 2 years.
Okay.
Total. So, which wasn't bad. That's still fairly quick. I mean, some people are on it for 3 to 5 years.
And that's how it works out here. When you go see the judge, you plead guilty. It's automatic 36 months. But you play nice and you do the right thing. You're out in 24.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you guys, you have to spend the first X amount of days on house arrest.
No, because they want us to have a job almost.
Yeah, they give you the windows here to go to work and all that, but they still have you on that bracelet for a year.
Oh yeah, see, we don't have that. I mean, again, that's dependent upon your PO and your status. How much they really have trust in you. I would say, until you can earn some freedom. So,
see, that's what I'm digging about doing this podcast, this little mini series, is hearing that the similarities and the small differences. It's fascinating to me.
Right, and our drug courts out here even vary county to county. Some drug courts are just a little bit different from the other drug courts. But, okay. Yeah. So, like some drug courts, you have to take a college course, you have to do physical education courses, and others are just don't test dirty, have a job, pay your rent, pay your drug court fees.
Right. Now, Jesus, I just had a question and I lost it. So I guess moving on. Oh, I remember it. Duh. Out in California, when you complete and they have no sanctions on you, do they withdraw charges or do you still got to sit on those?
No. So when you complete drug court out here in California, all your charges and your cases are all dismissed. So I went from being a 4-time felon to now I have no felony.
Right.
So everything's been dismissed.
We don't get that out in Pennsylvania. They don't withdraw charges. But it's funny. I was talking to my PO the other day about that exact thing, and he says, "Well, you're out in 4.5, 5 weeks. When you're done, let's talk about that because there might be something they're doing now." So, giving me a little bit more hope on top of the hope that of a decent future, being clean, being drug free.
Right. Exactly. And having the dismissals was a huge incentive for me to even take drug court in the beginning. I have an honorable discharge from the United States Coast Guard, and I went from having a really good background to being a known drug addict and a known drug dealer. And I didn't want that on my record. So, I wanted to be able to get rid of all that, and drug court did that for me.
How difficult did you find your sobriety in the beginning?
Honestly, my sobriety has been such a blessing that it's been super easy for me. That desire got lifted real, real fast for myself. Even in jail when drugs were offered, I still turned them down in jail. And
well, you never know what you're getting in with jail drugs either.
Yeah, I was but the desire wasn't there. I wasn't like, oh shit, I need to get fucking high.
Right.
I just didn't feel that way. It was, I don't want to do this anymore. So I just didn't.
And they say cocaine is not a physically addictive drug, but I had even though I was totally ready, getting into rehab at first, because out there, I'm sure you meet with, of course you meet the medical doctor, but they also put you in with the shrink, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I work in recovery now, and I have been for the last 2 years.
Really?
Um,
Now, are
yeah,
you familiar? I mean, did you ever watch wrestling in the 80s and 90s?
Oh, what kid didn't?
Okay, you remember Duke the Dumpster Drosy?
Yes.
Yeah, he's my dude, man. He's a cool guy. He was on an episode of this, and he's actually going to be appearing in this miniseries because he also is retired from wrestling, and he's working in the drug court system.
See, I love that. That's why I do what I do.
And that's actually, when I moved to Tampa, I would love to get involved working in the drug court system. I'm just not sure exactly how I would go about doing that. So let's talk about what you do in the court system.
Yeah, so what I do now is I'm an intake and admissions coordinator for a treatment center. Mm-hmm. I started out as a detox tech, and we're such a solid program, to the point where drug court now refers their new clients to me sometimes for sponsorship.
Okay.
Like when someone new comes in and struggling, they'll be like, give them the chat. And I love that. I earned that.
Yeah.
So I still communicate with my probation officer every week. I still give her a call. I send her pictures of my daughter, and to actually have my PO text me the other day telling me that I'm very missed in drug court, was pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
But, I've worked in recovery, like I said, for the last 2 years or so. And I get to watch people that are coming in, some on drug court, some AB 109, or just straight off the streets. And I get to watch them bloom from this horrible, destructed, shot out addict, to like start making things of themselves. And, in my little under 3 years of sobriety, I've sponsored quite a few men and taken them through the steps and just getting to watch them grow as well,
Yeah.
So I have a blessed life. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, working those steps, man, that's a pretty difficult part of getting clean. I think that's probably, in my opinion, the hardest part of getting clean is working those steps because, boy, you got to look inside yourself all the way from your head to your toes. You got to just accept all the bullshit you've done.
Yeah, and when I finished the steps, my sponsor, told me, congratulations, you're a piece of shit.
Well, thank you.
Just like the rest of us.
That's right.
So, I definitely qualified.
So then for you, drug court was not particularly all that challenging, but drug court also gives you all the tools and opportunities to make it through it.
Absolutely. It could have been very difficult if I made it that way,
Right.
They give you just enough rope to hang yourself with, and if you decide to do that, you're going to pay the consequences for it.
I had a counselor tell me drug court will give you enough rope to hang yourself or to skip rope. You pick.
Yeah, exactly. And I chose to skip rope.
Yep.
So, it could have been difficult, and it is challenging, when you got to find a job, it has to revolve around your drug court schedule, when you have to tell your employer, look, I'm a convicted felon, I have to do these things or I go to jail, so that,
for you,
that can hinder employment.
For you, this incarceration after all these charges, that was your rock bottom?
I wouldn't even say that part was, that was already me coming back on the climb, I think.
Okay.
Rock bottom was being homeless, living out of my truck, having nothing going for me, being broke. That was, robbing people's storage units.
Yeah.
That was rock bottom for me.
I never did that. Never hurt anybody, never stole, never took advantage. I sold so much of it. It was easy for me to keep myself high all the time too.
Right. And then
I was always circling the drain too, looking down the possibility of homeless. Oh, do I want to pay my rent or do I want to go re-up? And of course, re-up always won. Yeah,
exactly. And I was in the same boat. And I just got really tired of it. I got tired of police knowing who I was.
It's exhausting, right?
Yeah, they would just see me and pull me over because I either had a warrant or I had dope on me or I was doing something I shouldn't have been.
And California is a stop and search state, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the roughest state for an addict to live in. Pennsylvania is the same way. They don't even need a reason. Just come over here, put your hands behind your head. I'm going to search you. Shit.
Yeah. Yep. So, I just got really burnt out on that and that lifestyle. I got tired of calling my mom at 4 a.m. because I'm in county
In
lockdown.
jail, yeah.
Just didn't want to do that anymore.
So yeah, how long have you been out of drug court now?
So I just graduated drug court on December 11th of 2020.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you. So
you're brand new out. You're brand new out, and you're already working. Were you working in rehab while you were still in drug court?
Yes, almost the whole time.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I said, I got my first job as a detox tech, and then moved up, was a program manager at another facility, and then became an admissions and intake coordinator for another facility.
Cool.
So I've been doing it for some time, and I love it. Like I said, helping people is my true calling, and decided to make a career out of it.
And that's I say to a lot of people that addiction is you could look at it as the worst part of your life, which it was, but you could take a positive out of it and say, that was really on the job training. You don't want some kid who's come out of college who's never done anything except for drink or smoke weed try to tell you what it's like to get clean because they don't have any fucking idea. But you get somebody who is sleeping in the gutter, that's somebody who can help you.
Absolutely. Someone that can relate to that struggle and know what you've been through.
And you think back on your own experiences when you were getting right and there was somebody there helping you and how much that meant to you. You want to mean that to somebody else and you want to give them that kick in the ass to keep them going.
Yeah, because if you can't have empathy and addiction, you're not going to be very successful in this line of work.
Yeah, nobody in rehab is going to talk to you because they're all going to know what you're about.
They're not going to respect you and your opinion because you don't know the struggle of an addict.
Yeah, because basically you don't know shit.
Exactly.
And that's what it's like in every facility too. You see these guys who are clearly just out of college, perfect haircut, well groomed, all put together absolutely perfectly. Well, you guys don't know what it's like to not have anything because you did it to yourself. Lots of people go broke and have horrible experiences that are non-drug related, but you want the guy who's been where we've been. Yeah,
where you're freely giving everything away because you're choosing your drug life over everything else.
Well, and then in recovery, you're freely giving it away too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the only way you can keep it. It's giving it away.
Exactly. And that's what I do. When people ask me to sponsor them, I make it pretty clear, like, okay, you're going to hear my story and then you're going to put in some work to know what I expect from you.
Right.
You're going to tell me why you chose me to be your sponsor and why you want to be sober. Otherwise, I'm not going to waste my time. So I can get you through the first 2 steps and then you're going to leave.
Right.
Like you're going to earn it.
Hey, you're not lying. That's unfortunately the truth. There's a lot of people who start recovery with every intention of doing it, but they're just not there yet. So.
Yeah, and the thing that I come across the most is people want to get sober for somebody else and not for themselves. And 95% of the time, that just does not work. So.
Yeah, that's man. I hear that all the time. Well, and something else I hear all the time, and my regular listeners hear me going over this all the time when it comes to a relapse. It's like you can't destroy yourself because you relapsed. You just have to realize you did it and get back on track. Because if you beat yourself up, you're never going to stay. You're going to stay in relapse mode for good until you're dead.
Yeah. And the first question I asked a sponsee, if they have a relapse, no matter how mild or how intense it is, it's like, okay, well, what did you learn?
Yep.
Did things get any better for you? Are you happier now? And help that push them to not relapse again.
I tell people pretty often that, so, you're in hell right now. And they say, yeah. I say, well, have you ever noticed that hell has an exit sign? And they say, what? I say, look, hell has an exit sign. I know it's scary because it's surrounded by fire, but you can get to that exit sign.
Absolutely.
And that's, again, the point of this whole podcast in general is just let's connect with the people. Let's tell them what we've been through so they'll believe it. And then tell them the good things. So when you went And that's what's going to inspire hope out of people. My last day in rehab, I was just like, man, I'm a 2-time felon about to catch my third. Like, my life is over. I don't know what I'm going to flip burgers forever. And I was dumped out. And they all passed on. No, hell, you could do all kinds of jobs. There's all kinds of things you can do to help people and help yourself. That gave me a lot of hope, and that's what helped keep me clean.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this. When you went to get a job at rehab, you just showed up and said, hey, I'm a recovered addict and I want to help. And they were like, great, come on in.
Well, the way it worked for myself was I had a buddy that was already in drug court and had been in for a little while, and he was working at a treatment center.
Right.
And one day I just asked him, so, hey, what do I got to do to get a job there? And he told me, okay, well, you got to get these certifications, take these courses and get these certifications so that you can actually even apply. So I did. Within the next few days, I got those certifications.
You say a few days?
Yeah, I mean, that's for the basic certification.
Oh, okay.
For your registered alcohol and drug technician, that's somebody that can work in there, administer medication, and all that stuff. And so I did it all. And then I went and applied. And that's how I got my first job, working in treatment. So,
all right.
You start at the bottom there, and then you got to work your way up. So now I'm certified in multiple fields, and I can do counseling, I can do medication dispenses, whatever. There's not much I can't do in a rehab these days. That's
fantastic. Hell yeah, dude! You are a recovery warrior. That's what I call all my people, recovery warriors. Because let's not bullshit or beat around the bush. The war on drugs is very, very real, and drugs wins most of the time. You need strong soldiers out there fighting this fight.
Yeah, and that's what I surround myself with now is people that are just doing it, putting in the work, and that helps me stay clean. It's all about your surroundings and what you want out of your life. And if you put yourself in positive situations, positive things are going to happen. And
yeah, but people are still going to pop up. Good people in your life, bad people, they're going to pop up to try to test your mettle, man. I was helping somebody in my family repaint her condo. And then some people came around, hey, this bar is open now. Why don't we all go out and get a drink? And I was like, you know what, you guys go ahead. I'm just going to hang out here. Oh, come on, come get a beer. What's a beer going to hurt? Because a beer is going to lead to a shot. A shot's going to lead to 10. And then my nose is going to throw me right into a bag of Coke. That's what the fuck it's going to hurt.
Absolutely.
And I told my PO that, and he goes, good, you're staying on top of it. I guess that's true.
Yeah, and I put myself through a few different tests, been around people that were using meth, and people were like, why would you do that? Why would you put yourself through that? Because I got to see where I'm at, and I was able to walk away, no issues, no cravings, no nothing.
That sounds to me like seeing if the gun works by putting it to your head, though. That's a little dangerous.
Yeah, it wasn't an intentional thing, like where I said I'm going to go put myself in the situation where everybody's using meth around me. It just ended up happening that way. And, I was able to just walk away from the situation. It's not like I stayed and hung out and was like, hey, let me watch you hit that pipe. Nothing of that sort. But,
blow it in my face. Let me smell it just to see if I want it.
Right. Exactly. But,
okay, now you're doing well. You've got a job. You're helping people. I assume you in an apartment. Do you own a house?
I have my own apartment.
Right.
I'm a single dad raising my daughter turns 1 this month. Doing it by myself. Work a great job. Have a nice car. My life is good. Because I worked these steps and I did what I was taught in drug court. Drug court got me to what I am today. There's no doubt about it.
And you look back on your life before that, it's just like, wow, how did I get this far? You never thought back then you would be here now.
100%, definitely not.
And that's a point I keep making to people who are listening, who are right now actively using, who say, oh, there's no future for me. Because I've said it, you've said it, we've all said it, but it's not true.
Not at all.
It's just not true. There is such a big, bright light at the end of this tunnel. You just got to know which way you're facing.
Yeah, and I mean, I know tons of people that were way worse off than I was when I was in active addiction, at my rock bottom, who have come back and they're actually even way further ahead of me in life where I'm at now, and it's different for everybody.
Sure.
And, but I appreciate what I have because I remember what I had.
And what you did to get it and what you do to keep it.
Yeah. It's not easy or everybody would do it. It takes some work, but you put in that work and you get the results. And that's just all there is to it.
Well, all right. And see, there we go, people. Now you've heard so far, just to get started, you've heard 2 success stories. And coming up on the program, we're going to have somebody else who's about to graduate. We're going to have a probation officer. We're going to have good old Duke the Dumpster Drosy come on, and we're going to have even more stories of the truth. We're not here to lie to you. If you're offered drug court and you're not ready, you might want to look for an alternative, or you might want to take that opportunity and run with it. So, yep, that's what you got. Anything? We got to wrap this up because, like I always say, podcast listeners have a notoriously short attention span. So, you got any closing words of wisdom you want to share, brother?
Just to kind of elaborate on what you said. If you're not ready, drug court may not be the proper route. Because there's no pushing through it. But if you are ready and you need some structure in your life, that's absolutely the road I would take. Because it works a lot. I've seen so many success stories, and it's all from drug court.
Yeah, like I've heard my judge say several times, you got to meet us 50%. We've given you our 50, and our 50 is always out there. If you're not going to meet us 50, you're going to go to prison because they'll kick you out of the program, and then you're gone.
Yep.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to go into prison having already failed something else. Just do it and make it work. They want it to work for you. And to those people out there who are saying, oh, I've done too much, there's no forgiveness, that's not true. The world, your family, your friends, everybody wants to forgive you. You just got to show them that it's real this time. And if nobody has told you today, I love you. And if you think you're in this fight alone, right now, we've shown you that you're not. There are 2 people here that don't even know you who will help you. Right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All you got to do is ask.
I appreciate you coming on today. That was a great inspirational story. I wish you all the luck in your continued success in this. And, of course, down the road, we're going to check in on you, see how you're doing, because you're one of the family now.
Appreciate it.
You're an alumni, a Smells Like Hope alumni. So, boys and girls, guys and dolls, we're going to talk to you guys real soon. And on that note, take care of each other.